Welcome back to the Awesome Agents podcast. Today we're talking about a story that honestly rewrites some assumptions I had about the AI chip race.
Yeah, this is a big one. Zhipu AI just released GLM-5, a 744 billion parameter model, and the headline isn't the size, it's the hardware.
Right, because this thing was trained completely on Huawei chips. Zero Nvidia, zero AMD. Walk me through that.
So they used 100,000 Huawei Ascend 910B processors running the Mindspore framework. Every single parameter was trained on Chinese silicon. No American chips anywhere in the stack.
Okay, so the US chip embargo was supposed to prevent exactly this. How good is the model actually?
Better than you would expect. On SWE-bench Verified, which tests real software engineering tasks, GLM-5 scores 77.8%. GPT-5.2 scores 76.2%. Claude Opus is still ahead at 80.9%, but the gap is tiny.
Wait, it actually beats GPT 5.2 on coding?
On that specific benchmark, yes. And on Humanity's Last Exam, which was designed to be hard for frontier models, GLM-5 leads the entire field at 50.4%.
So where does it fall short?
Pure reasoning. On AIME 2025, GPT 5.2 gets a perfect 100%, and GLM-5 manages 88.7%. On Terminal Bench 2.0, both GPT 5.2 and Claude hold about an 8 to 9 point advantage.
So it is strong on coding and agentic tasks, weaker on math reasoning. That's a specific profile.
Exactly, and that matters because the benchmarks Zhipu chose to highlight are the ones where they do best. Classic launch strategy. The model is truly good, but the picture is more nuanced than the headlines suggest.
Fair point. Now tell me about the architecture. 744 billion parameters sounds massive. How does inference actually work?
It's a mixture of experts design, 256 total experts, but only 8 are active per token. So on any given pass, only 44 billion parameters actually fire. That keeps compute manageable.
Oh, similar to how DeepSeek does it.
Very similar. They actually borrowed DeepSeek's sparse attention for long context processing, and they use multi-head latent attention, which cuts memory requirements by about a third compared to standard attention.
So the open source ecosystem is feeding itself. DeepSeek publishes techniques, Zhipu picks them up.
That's exactly what is happening. And the model itself is MIT licensed, most permissive license you can get. Weights on Hugging Face compatible with VLLM for self-hosting.
What about the hallucination numbers? Those jumped out at me.
So they developed a reinforcement learning framework called SLIME specifically for hallucination reduction. They claim a drop from 90% on their previous model down to 34% on GLM-5. For context, Claude Sonnet 4.5 sits around 42% and GPT 5.2 around 48%.
That would make it the least hallucinating frontier model, if true. Big if.
Big if, those are self-reported numbers. Until independent evaluators like LMSYS or Chatbot Arena confirm them, I'd treat it as a claim, not a fact.
Let's talk about pricing, because these numbers are kind of wild.
$1 per million input tokens, $3.20 per million output tokens. Compare that to roughly $6 input and $30 output for GPT 5.2 or Claude Opus. We are talking 5 to 6x cheaper.
So if you are a startup paying frontier model rates right now, this has to get your attention.
It does, but there's a trade-off. Inference speed is 17 to 19 tokens per second compared to 25 to 30 plus for the Western models. That reflects both the MoE routing overhead and the lower per chip throughput of the Ascend hardware.
So it is cheaper, but slower. There's always a catch.
Always, and Zhipu has acknowledged that compute constraints are limiting their rollout. They launched for coding subscribers first, with broader access rolling out gradually.
The bigger picture here, though, the embargo was supposed to keep China a generation behind. Is it working?
On raw compute efficiency, yes. These Ascend clusters consume markedly more power than equivalent Nvidia systems. But on model quality in specific domains, the gap has essentially closed. That's the part that changes the strategic calculus.
So the embargo raised the cost of competing, but didn't prevent it.
That's the most accurate summary I have seen. And with GLM-5 being open source, those techniques spread to every other lab in the ecosystem.
Zhipu stock surged almost 29% on the Hong Kong exchange after this. The market seems to agree this matters.
It matters because it proves the concept. You can reach frontier performance on a fully domestic hardware stack. Whether that scales further is the next question.
Great breakdown, Maya. For everyone listening, we'll link the full article in the show notes. Until next time, stay curious.
And read the benchmarks, not just the headlines. See you next week.